Hey guys, it's Kelly and I am back with my second layout using the So Lovely collection. I decided to pull out another older picture. This one is from the early 1990s when my mother remarried. And, looking at the papers, I thought it would be fun to make a similar style as, the wallpaper used to be. Remember with the two different styles of wallpaper, one on top and one on bottom with the chair rail separating them. And I just thought that that would be neat and have a different approach and use up some of this pattern paper. So I'm not sure what happened with my cutting, and you will see me mess with this quite a bit, but on the black cardstock you can see that paper is so crooked, and I end up having to trim quite a bit getting that down. And it's so funny, you can see it plain as day when you're looking back at the video, but it's only when I start looking at it this way, when I'm going to line up another piece of paper, that I realize. And I don't know if I made one crooked cut I didn't have the paper all the way up against the guide, or if I was just half asleep. No telling, but it does take me a while to fix it. And sometimes I will just let a crooked edge be, but on the black cardstock it was so apparent that I had no choice but to get it fixed. So as a result, my paper layers end up being a little bit different, or the background ended up being a little bit different than what I had in mind. So I decided that since there was going to be this not huge, but a big opening in between, that I would just let that serve as part of the background layer, and then just let the black shine through the lace when I put it on. And I'm really glad that I just went with it, because I really like the black poking through the lace, and I just think it gives it just a nice little something extra that I wouldn't have necessarily done on purpose. So I decided to put this photo down on the mat, again using photo corners like I did before. And this picture, I'm not sure that I have scanned in to save, and I'm having some issues with it, with the scanner. So I wanted to be able to easily get this picture off the mat. And what I will do is, the way I make sure that I get these photos scanned is I won't put the layout in the album until I have checked and have done it. So I decided to use a little bit of black soot distressing ink to ink the edges. Again, I don't want this layout to look old, and I want it to have some, like a nod to the older style, but also to have some new things or new trends mixed in with it. So I really like this pink polka dot paper, and it makes a nice accent, or just, I want to save as much of it as I can, especially since my goal is to make the minimum of 3 layouts, and that the polka dots are just usually a very easy paper for me to use. So I have an idea for my 3rd layout for this collection, and hopefully I'll be able to get a 4th layout out as well. But my minimum goal was 3. So I decided to take the doilies from the doily inspiration from the paper and use those as well. And I pulled off the flower because I'm trying to use something off the sticker sheet, but it looked like a funeral flower, and I just decided I couldn't do it. So I went into my Kiss Kiss chipboard sheet and pulled off that big flower that was just waiting to be used. And that chipboard sheet didn't really have anything else, so I went and grabbed my Maggie Holmes flower die cuts. And I swear these things multiply and have babies when I'm not looking, and that's perfectly fine with me. I am not complaining one bit. I have used them several times, and you can't even tell. So when I'm looking through these die cuts, what I'm looking for are the shades of pink and vellum pieces and pieces that have gold. I don't necessarily want to introduce another color like in with those leaves, that darker green. I want to keep it somewhat simple and understated, and you'll see that in a minute I'll go back and pull off that darker pink vellum piece because I just find that it was very distracting and it was exactly where your eye went, and that's not what I wanted with this. So one of the reasons that I use doilies quite a bit, other than my love for them, is they make a nice grounding piece for either embellishments or your title, and it's just a nice, for me, inexpensive embellishment. So I pulled these thickers and another set that was cream and gold and decided that I was going to go with the bolder title and use the black. And I think these are called imprint, and I just love the gold in the middle. And I, playing around with the title, and I decided to do a 2-font title. And I pulled out these Maggie Holmes word stickers because I thought using the black ones would be another way to bring in more black and just give this a different look than what I would normally do, and just to give it a different appeal. And I love the black. I'm really glad that I did this. So the word phrases that I'm using are "there's much to celebrate" and "wonderful" and "on this day," and I thought that all 3 of those worked well for a wedding page. And the third one I will stick up by the title in that cluster area. So these thickers are from Recollections, and I have several packs. I usually will buy a pack or 2 when they go on sale, and I think they're $1. And I use them a lot with my December daily. They're just a perfect size, and the glitter, and it's gold, and what more could you ask for? So I will putz around with this, that embellishment cluster. You can see I'm tapping my fingers, and I end up not putting a flower there and just letting the flowers on the bottom right be my main embellishment cluster. It just was too much, too busy, and sometimes just leaving things a little bit simple and understated are more pleasing to my eye. So I went into my stash and decided I was going to use some bling, and my first thought was to put some pearls on because pearls and weddings tend to go hand in hand. But as I'm looking at them, they're kind of getting lost on the page, and it just wasn't what I was looking for. So I decided to pull those off and use the black. And I just loved the way the black pearls looked on the page, and it just, just for me, it was like perfect. And then the last thing that I will do on camera is I will add some photo corners to the edges of the layout just to help ground that as well. And a couple of days later, I actually go back and add some pearly white sequins. So you'll be able to see those in the close-ups. So thanks so much. And if you take time to give me thumbs up and or a comment, I try to respond to them all. Just makes my day, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thanks so much. Bye.